wait
Yeah.
seven,
Yeah.
you could wait 7, 8 hours to be seen at times. It's gotten that bad.
Yes. Yeah, we were so lucky. There was nobody in the waiting room when we walked in on Saturday afternoon at like 3 o'clock. It was insane.
And
Okay, let's get started. Um, I really appreciate you all so much, and I respect your time. So I want to go quick. The most important part of this meeting is probably the LACES stuff I'm going to share at the beginning. That's why we've got some parent literacy people here, and that will be applicable to you. I want to apologize for the last minute scheduling of this meeting. We used to do it regularly, and then we sort of stopped due to lack of bandwidth. So I wanted to get it started again, but uh, yeah, I am committed to notifying you guys in advance for the spring session. But thank you guys for fitting this in last minute. So we're going to start with laces. I'm going to share my screen. Screen option. Nope, this is the screen I want to share. And let me know if you can see laces on my screen.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, great.
okay.
So this is where we'll start. And I'm just gonna I'll pick Lynn's class. So when you log into Laces, you can only see the class you're assigned to. If you can't see it yet, that's because you can see I haven't assigned everybody to their class yet. So don't worry about that. What's up, Mike?
How do you log into Laces?
That's a good question. You should have a login, but if you don't, I'll send you an email. It will come from Laces. I have to activate your account. If you might not have one activated, people who have taught before already have one.
Okay.
So they just need to be assigned to their class. And parent literacy people, I have to get your classes in Laces. So if you're not seeing that show up, don't worry, that will be done soon enough. So yes, once you log in, you'll go to class at the top, this very first row, dashboard, student, class. You will not see as many options as I have. This is my admin account. So you will probably just see class and maybe one other thing. You click on that, and then you'll only have one option, maybe two if you teach more than one class. Lynn's assigned to a couple different classes, so she will see more than one. So you click on your class. I'm going to do the beginner English class as my example. I double clicked it. I'm going to go back one more time and show you there's another way to open your class. If you go all the way to the right, my screen's small, so I have to use this slider. You can also click this green eyeball, and that will open up your class. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. Oops. There we go. I'm going to click the green eyeball. And this is being recorded, so you can watch it later too if I went too quickly. Once you're into your class, you can see the class data. The enrollment tab has everyone who signed up for your class and their information. And then attendance is the important tab. So that's where we're going to be for the most part today. The other tabs are instructor. This is where you can see all of your hours that you've entered. Instructor hours is sort of a duplication. You can insert your instructor hours on the attendance tab, and I'll show you how to do that. But if for some reason you forgot to include some hours, you can do that here. And then comments, and we'll talk about that too. So let's start with
Allie,
attendance.
I don't know
Yeah.
if this matters. You're actually in John's class, not mine. I don't know if it makes
Okay.
a difference. If it doesn't, fine.
Excellent.
Okay.
It doesn't, yes,
Okay.
but I always mix them up. This is John's class.
I
Thanks,
didn't know if
Lynn.
you had planned something. Oh no.
And yeah, and if you notice me saying anything else that doesn't make sense, please interrupt because it's been a long week. So um, once you go to the attendance tab, you'll click add, and then there's three columns. Column one You pick the date of your class. So let's see. Let's just say it's a Tuesday class. Column two is where you enter the student hours. You'll see there's a little checkbox that says include students, and that is almost always already checked. So you shouldn't have to do anything, just make sure it is checked.
Well, it should show up though,
It
shouldn't it?
should be.
No,
You shouldn't have to click anything, just look at that's a visual check.
it started.
And then column three is the instructor column. So you want to check that. That one's not automatically checked. So let's start with column one. Typically, we have asked instructors to enter their hours monthly, but I would like you guys to enter them weekly. So if you could just, like when I was teaching a class last session, I just entered attendance at the beginning. If you want to do it after class, that's fine. There's two reasons for that. One is we're really trying to help increase retention from the office. So if you put in that attendance, that especially those first 2 weeks, it's super important. Then Jenna and I can go through and see who hasn't shown up and contact them and say, hey, are you coming to class? Are you confused? Do you have the Zoom link? And get those students in your class. Two, I find a lot of instructors will forget how to enter things if they wait a month between their LACES visits. So if you do it every week, you'll get that muscle memory and you'll remember how to enter your
Starting this week?
For parent literacy, yes. Yeah, I guess you guys have already started. Yeah.
Well, I had my first class yesterday.
Yeah, so get that in. I don't do as much support with attendance through parent literacy because the Judy Center is more in charge of that. So you would want to communicate with whoever your point person is. It might be someone from the Judy Center, it might be a community school coordinator. And if you're having someone who's not showing up, be like, the student isn't showing up, can you contact them?
But you still want us to do it weekly.
Yes. Another important thing to keep in mind, I've had some instructors who, because we have previously said to do it monthly, they'll go in and they'll pick a day at the end of the month. Like, let's say I had class all December, every week on Wednesday. They'll just go in on the 31st and put all the hours. That is very confusing and not great for our data collection. So that's another reason why you should do it weekly and enter the date on the actual dates that you meet. So if you met on the 31st, enter it on the 31st, the 24th, enter it on the 24th, and so on. Any questions about entering the date?
Ellie, I have a question. I did another community class like 2 years ago, and I vaguely remember entering hours somewhere else. So are we going to enter in two places, or is it only here in LACES
Only
now?
here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was.
I can't remember
Maybe they
either,
had a
but
form.
okay.
Oh,
Just
Yeah.
here.
If you're tutoring, then there's a different place for the tutoring pair in addition to teaching a class. But for the class, there's only one place for the class.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Lynn?
No, I was just going to say if there were other kind of volunteer work like coordinator or any other office or something, that's always entered in a different place as well.
Yeah, that's true. If you do outreach or a board member, or if you're like Lynn and you're a coordinator, they have this what's called non-teaching volunteer hours form that they have to fill out every month. So if any of you overlap in your volunteer roles, I know Teddy was in that position for a while. It's a little confusing, so just feel free to reach out if you're not sure where to report which hours. And I just want to repeat again, I really appreciate you guys doing this. It's a huge administrative load off of the office's shoulders to have you guys enter your attendance. And I know that it's kind of difficult, but it is so important. We use this data for our funding. The retention numbers are important for a number of grants that we apply to. So it is really important, and I appreciate you guys making an effort to do it right. No one's going to get in trouble if they do it wrong. But that's the point of this meeting, is just to try to get everybody on the same page.
And
Natalie,
Ally, I
could I
do
ask a
find that
question? Wait.
when the office calls about attendance, it's much more effective than if I call. So
Okay,
I want to thank you for that too. So
good.
it is nice to get the force, and they're very good at being, kind and considerate and saying, "Hey, we just noticed you weren't there. Can we help?" So it's really worthwhile reporting it.
Good. Yeah, we've definitely seen an increase in students telling us when they can't come to class. So ideally, we want to get them there, but this is a step on the way, is communication. So what was your question, Brent?
Well, first of all, I got to apologize. My computer just did an update that I
Oh,
don't think
yeah.
I asked for, and all my files are all over the place. So I'm doing my best to make sense of this. But to help other people not go down the same road I did, what did I screw up on last semester with my class, putting hours in the wrong place? I think it was prep hours.
Yes, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. So
Yeah,
hold off
sorry.
on that.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
no,
that.
that's okay. I'll go
Was
through.
it?
We're like in part 1 out of 3 for this. So
Go,
I'll go through it all and then we'll come back with questions.
Great.
go for it.
Yeah, gosh, you guys are so helpful. But yeah, keep chiming in, and definitely at the end, I want to hear more feedback from people who have been in the trenches and they know the laces tips. So like I said, put in, you can do multiple days at a time in laces. I don't want to overcomplicate this. It's probably best if you just log in um, once a week and put it in for one day at a time. But if for some reason you forget, you can put it in for 2 days at a time. So I'll just put that out there. And if you have more questions, contact me. So let's say I had class on December 24th, Christmas Eve. We had a Christmas party. Now I'm going to column 2, which is student hours. And you know that because it says include students at the top. So that's kind of the column title. I'm making sure the box is checked. You will only ever input hours in one place. I know that we can see like 7 different rows. Only the top row matters. So you're never going to put in instruction anywhere else except for the top row that says instruction. So if you're online, do not put learning, do not put e-hours, don't fill out any of the rest, just right here. Just a reminder, we do hours in 15-minute increments, which equals 0.25. So 15 minutes is 0.25 for data purposes. If you meet for an hour, you're going to put 1. Don't put 60. It's not in minutes, just 1 for 1 hour, or 1.5. Now, this is where a lot of you guys sort of do different things. So I'd like us to all get on the same page here. If we have agreed that your class is meeting for an hour, if, for example, on the overall schedule that we have, it's kind of like our course catalog. I think it says on Brent's right now, 6:30 to 8.
45.
So
Okay.
if yeah, sorry, Brent, we can update that. But I'm just, for an example, let's say
Sorry about that.
Brent and I agreed that he's meeting from 6:30 to 8 for his class. So
Yes.
how many hours is that class?
1.5.
1.5.
1.5. I'm sorry.
1.5. Trick
I'm
question.
sorry. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
me trying to think.
So 1.5. Let's say that Brent ends a little early. Let's say he actually ends at 7:45. What is he going to put here?
Now I can go back to my answer. 1.25.
2.5, I guess, right?
You got it.
1.5.
What?
You're always going to
one.
put the amount of hours that we agreed to.
Oh,
So
Oh,
let's
so
say, yeah,
okay.
if Brent like stayed till 8:15 talking to a student, or maybe the class went over, everyone was like super engaged and they were chit-chatting, he would put 1.5.
Understood.
I know that might be a little different than what we're used to, but it makes everything a lot easier for data reporting. So if your class time is like shifting a little bit, I just want you to put in the amount of time that we agreed that your class is going to be. So part of that is for ease on reporting. It makes it easier for me to add up the numbers, and I'll go into more detail on that in a second. Part of that is it's kind of a fairness thing. Like if Brent happens to go over one class for like 15 minutes, that's not bad. Like that's bonus points for the students. They get more instruction time. but not every student, like let's say a student didn't show up that day, they didn't have access to that extra 15 minutes of time. So like the way that we calculate the attendance percentage is based on like how many instruction hours did everybody have access to, and then how many did they actually attend, and it's divided, and then they get a percentage. So I'll go into more detail on that, but any questions about what to enter in the instruction time?
I just, I would just encourage people. You say the number's there, but sometimes the number does show up. Like one, I've noticed when I've entered like for the whole month, which is a good reason to enter every day, every week. But if you're not careful, you'll do what happens, and I'll put 1.5 and it'll turn up 11.5. So
Yeah.
I know we had,
Sometimes it's this, sometimes we get 15.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, make sure you put that period in. That's a good point,
and
Lynn.
double check it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so easy to make a mistake.
Yeah. And if you put something in wrong, totally not the end of the world. Just let me know and I can fix it. So I'm going to try to commit to doing a better job of keeping an eye on the hours as the session goes. But definitely at the end, when I go to close out classes, if I see anything weird, you'll get an email or a call and I'll just clarify like, hey, data's missing for this day. Did you cancel class? Hey, if I just see 15 hours and I know your class is 1.5, I'm going to fix it. I don't have to call you about that. But
If for
if I
some
see anything
reason,
else,
if for some reason we do have to cancel class, like it snows or something, should we put a 0 or just leave it blank and you ask us later?
great question, Teddy. Great question. Do not put a 0. I have some teachers who like to do that. They like to put 0 for the students who didn't show up. Don't do that. I just go in and I delete them all, and it's kind of a waste of my time. If the students don't show up, you do nothing. You only enter hours for the students who showed up. That's a great
Can I ask
question.
another question not to make you go off track?
Pause just for a second. Teddy, there's a
Um,
second part to your question about if it snows.
sorry.
That is different if you're parent literacy versus community class. Parent literacy, I think your class is canceled because the school is closed. And
Right.
Holly can verify that. She is not here tonight, but you can double check with Holly on that if you teach in a school. If you're a community class instructor, everybody has backup Zoom links for their in-person classes. So I've sent a couple emails about that, but if you still have questions, we can talk more about that later in this meeting or even individually if needed. Everybody has a backup Zoom link, and you have information on accessing that I just sent out right before this meeting. Some of you might have seen your rosters come through. Um, yeah. What was your question, Brett?
Sort of a question, but you were talking about zeros. Unless something's changed from the last time I did this, you click your hours, and then when you put include students, it brings up the roster, and you can just uncheck the ones that aren't there. Is that correct, or did something change?
Yeah, we're not there yet. Good
Oh,
point.
I gotta stop doing that, huh?
Brent should be leading this. He's an
No,
expert.
actually, I'm gonna mute for a while and then come back later.
I'm glad I picked this class actually, because you guys have already met in FSC. So if I click on this, then I think the students will show up. Okay, so I put 1.5. I always put 1.5. 1.5 is the schedule for my class. I went over a little bit this week, but I'm just going to put 1.5 because I care about Allie and I want her life to be easy. On the third column, this is where we put the instructor hours. You can remember that because the title says include instructor. And remember, this check box is not automatically checked typically in my experience.
What?
So you do want to click that check.
No.
In this column, you're going to focus on the first 3 rows. So lab, computer, other, I've never had that apply to a teacher. Instruction should be the same. So 1.5. If the students say 1.5, the teacher says 1.5. But prep and travel just depends on how long you spent prepping and how long you spent traveling. Those numbers I don't care about as much. So they can change week to week. You can leave them out if you didn't prep. There's really no rules about how long you need to spend prepping. And then travel time is different from everybody. That will probably be the same week to week, but maybe you get stuck in traffic and that increases your travel time. These 2 numbers are not going to negatively affect my data. If you don't put them in, then we'll have overall, we count how many hours our volunteers spend. So that number will be lower, but you're not going to like keep us from getting grant money or anything. I
So
know
Ally,
yeah.
so for travel time, I've been just putting it in for the month. For instance, I know it's 20 minutes one way times 8 trips, I'll put in, you don't have a problem if you see a two there, knowing that I'm not traveling 2 hours, right?
Oh yeah, that one you could do monthly. I
Okay.
think that's more complicated if you're doing everything else weekly, but that you can do. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay.
Especially if you have like a weird amount of travel time and it becomes a whole number after. That kind of makes sense to me. Yeah.
And the fact that instruction is weekly and travel is monthly is not a problem.
Nope. Yeah, these two numbers, I don't report specifically on them, so it's not really that big of a
Okay.
deal. The number that is really important is instruction, and I'll show you guys what that looks like as we move forward. So after we put it in, let's say I prepped for 30 minutes, which is 0.5. Let's say I traveled for 15 minutes, which is 0.25. And if you're not sure, again, just round to the closest one. If you drive 20 minutes, that's 0.25. If you drive 35 minutes, that's 0.5, if that makes sense, right? I wouldn't round 20 up to 30 because 5.5 is closer to 15. You get what I'm saying? I'm an English person, not a math person. Then you click save, I think is what that green button
Oh,
said.
it's an
An
ad.
ad.
Add. Click add. Thank you. Click add. And then this is your double check
It
page.
does now.
So
The other page.
we get by the end of it, we'll be able to trickle check. And this is what I think Brent was talking about. So what I personally like to do is you have this checkbox up here. I like to uncheck everybody and then look at my attendance sheet and go through and oh, Unsuk was there, Jose was there, Griselda was there. Done. There's no instructor assigned, so unfortunately Lynn's hours didn't show or John's hours didn't show up on this page because I need to assign you. I'm sorry, you guys.
I'm sorry,
But you're
Ally. Start from the beginning. Was that under the enrollment or under the
Attendance.
attendance?
yeah. I can start from the beginning.
Which, yeah,
So
was it those names
It's
were
under
under enrollment?
attendance.
so enrollment does show all the students enrolled, but
Okay.
attendance you don't see the names until the second page. So you click add, and then you pick your day,
Mm-hmm.
and then you add your instruction.
Right.
Add your instruction, prep, travel, and then you click add. And then this is where I enter attendance for the students.
Got it.
So you kind of see your enrollment list pop up again, but you can tell you're in the second window. So this is just for 114 attendance. It's not your overall enrollment.
Right.
I could see that being tricky. If you accidentally go to the enrollment tab and you're just like clicking check mark boxes, you might think, oh, this looks just like the attendance. This is where I enter attendance. But you have to go to attendance and click add and get to this second window. So there's a couple steps. So
Right.
yeah, you can do it however you want. You could go through and uncheck somebody. Hopefully everybody attends, and then you can just click this check
What
box.
if they're late? How do you change it to yes?
They have full time. Yeah, don't worry about it
Don't
if
worry
they're
about it.
late.
Okay.
Yeah, 1.5 hours for them. Let's keep it simple.
Yep.
And then you would click save. I'm not going to click save right now. But something you can't see on this window, because let's see, let's go to a different class where I have the instructor assigned so you can see what it looks like. This one, book club, Catherine has been assigned. So I go to attendance. It's defaulting there now because that's where I was last time. You might have to click on it. And then I click add. I'm going to pick my day, 1.5, 1.5, 0.5, 0.25. Click add. Ah. If you ever have an issue like this, just reach out to me. It just means the dates are off. So Catherine's class ended before the date that I picked. So that's why it was giving me trouble. But you shouldn't have that problem because I have everybody's dates in right. Oh, wait. And I forgot to click include instructor. Did you guys see that? There was no instructor page. Okay. One more time. is good. It's humbling, right? Laces is hard, even for the laces
Instructor.
supposed expert. So I need to click this button. That's what I forgot last time. So now I'm going to click add. And now you should see two windows. This is what I wanted to show you. The top one is all your students. Tanya and Aruna came to my imaginary class. And the bottom one is the instructor. And there's 3 entries for Catherine. Can anyone tell me why there's 3 entries for Catherine?
Well, it says there, it's one is for travel, one is for prep, and one is for instruction.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Carmen. A plus. So you want to keep all those checked. You should not have to uncheck anything for instructor. If you didn't prep, don't put in any hours and you won't get an entry for that.
Do we have to
Any
put
questions about?
do we have to put anything in for hours absent?
No, do not put anything in for hours absence. It makes it harder for me to collect data. Good question.
Well,
Anything else? Any other questions about this page?
Is there any way to make those windows bigger? They're always such a pain to scroll through.
Yeah, well,
They
But I
are a
can't-
pain.
I can't find a way
You
to.
can.
Oh, how'd you do that?
You kind of just hover until it becomes an arrow. I'm just like moving my mouse. I'm not clicking until it becomes this arrow. And
Okay.
then you click and drag.
You can do that to the top too. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's always bothered me, and I didn't know how to do it. Thanks.
It is, and I don't. Oh, okay. If you click this button, you can make it
Mhm.
full screen up in the upper right-hand corner.
Okay.
So this is it as like a little screen, and then this is it as a full screen.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, great point, Erin. The instructor section is hard to read. And then you would click save. I'm not going to click save, but once you click save, then you can go to your attendance tab. You should still be there. And the attendance will appear, the attendance that we entered. Let's say we entered. So Catherine is going to watch this recording and she's going to stop putting in these zeros for me.
I put zeros, yeah.
Oh, there's Catherine. No worries, Catherine.
I'm thinking, check.
I'm glad you're here. Sorry, I didn't realize you were in the room. Good thing I didn't say all of those mean things. Just kidding. Catherine is an excellent book club instructor, and this is not the worst thing that can happen. But you can double check that you put your attendance in correctly after you do it. So we clicked save, and then we're just going to go look here. You might say, oh, there's zeros showing up. I didn't mean to. I'm going to send Allie an email. And you see, I have this little trash can. You guys don't. So I can delete those. No big deal. It's easy for me.
Oh, so if you make a mistake, you can't correct it yourself?
You can't, but I'm happy to correct it for you. Please don't be afraid of making mistakes. The point of this meeting is not to shame anybody. It's just to try to avoid the mistakes that are avoidable. I make mistakes all the time. If you notice any mistakes on the rosters that I just hurriedly sent out before this meeting, please let me know. I'm sure that some of you have the wrong subject line or the wrong attachment. So, yeah. Any more questions about attendance? Okay, I'm going to check gotta move my Zoom screen. This is my meeting notes. So I wanted to talk about how to enter hours, adding instructor hours, always use the same time, always enter student hours only under instruction, do not record 0 hours or absent students, and then always tell me if a class is canceled. So if you have a conflict, that's totally fine. You guys are volunteers, you're adults, you have lives. Let me know. Because if the class doesn't happen, then that means there was less total hours that the student had access to. So that's going to change the attendance percentages. And then B, I'd love to try to get subs for anyone who can't do something. I've subbed for teachers. I'm happy to step in last minute. I can ask other instructors or volunteers to sub for you. So I'd love, or sometimes I'll have teachers ask the students if they can move a class. Brent's really proactive about that. He'll be like, I accidentally double booked myself. Let's move the class. Or we'll have like a double session. I'm super flexible about how that happens. I'd love to offer the students the maximum amount of hours if we can avoid canceling the class altogether. But if the class does get canceled, I need to know because it changes my calculations at the end of the session. Okay. Any questions about that? You guys have been excellent. So I wanted to give you a little bit of a background about what happens after you enter the hours, just for context. So, for example, for Catherine's book club, they met 3 times and each class was 1.5 hours. So they had a total of 4.5 instruction hours offered. Did I do that right? John's our math guy.
I was wondering where did that come from, Allie?
The screen.
Did Catherine input that or did it?
I put that. That's for me. These are my notes. This
Oh,
is
that's
under
you.
the
Okay.
class data tab, so I think Catherine can see it. Catherine probably doesn't look at this tab. Most instructors don't, but this is where I put
Okay,
this
I
note.
understand.
Yeah. Just for accountability. So if someone were to go in and be like, how did she get those percentages? They know what numbers I'm working off of. Catherine, did any of your classes get canceled?
No,
No.
but I
Okay.
did end one short, like about 15 minutes early because I had a doctor's appointment.
No worries. What should she put in for attendance for those students if her class is 1.5 hours?
The same
1.5.
amount of time,
5.
0.5.
You guys are getting it. This is great. Perfect. So I'm gonna go to Catherine's attendance, and I'm not gonna do it now because it's kind of time consuming, but I'll just check. It's easy for her book club because there's only 3 classes. I say, oh, 12, 16, 1, 6, 1, 13. Okay, I see entries for every day. I'll check it against a calendar if it's more complicated than this. And that's when you get those emails from me. Mostly it's like me and Lynn going back and forth because she has a lot more. She works for parent literacy and all these other places. Or
So
volunteers,
Allie,
I should say.
Allie, sorry.
Sorry, let me just finish what I'm saying.
Okay, sure.
So this is where I kind of check to make sure there's not missing data. So I might say, hey, I don't have attendance for this day. Did you have class? And then you might either check your roster and be like, oh, I forgot to put it in, or be like, no, Allie, I emailed you. We didn't have class. And I'll be like, oh, yeah. What was your question, Lynn?
Well, when that 0 is not there, what happens? And am I right? The student's name doesn't show up for that day because it hasn't been clicked, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you would only get for that day the students who are actually in the class on this list.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. And that doesn't hurt me at all.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe that's why you were doing it, Catherine. Maybe it was easier to make sure I did everybody. Some people had 0, some didn't. So
We
it
didn't put
makes sense
in for it.
that you were doing it, but yeah, no more. And then I'm gonna go to the enrollment and I look at, sorry, I have to change the view. Info. You guys don't have to do this. This is all for context, so I just want you guys to kind of understand. Here I can see the total hours earned for each student. And so I can see some weird numbers like 2.65, 4.15. So I'm going to reach out to Catherine about that and we'll figure out, what is if everyone got 1.5, I can probably go back to attendance and find it like, oh, yeah, she put in 115 for that class. She ended early. So
Yeah.
I'll just go back and change that to 1.5. And then once I get all the numbers where they don't look funky anymore, they should all be like whole numbers of 1.5 added. I will take like this and I'll go, okay, what's 3 divided by 4.5? I can't do that. I'm going to use my phone. And then that's
1.5.
5.
1.5.
Point
Perfect.
0.75.
0.75.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Fine.
I'm sorry. I will do 3 divided by 4.5. So I
Oh.
take the number of hours attended divided by the total possible numbers of hours.
0.6.
So 3 divided by 4.5. Yeah, it's 0.666.
Right.
So that means this student attended 66% of the classes. And then there's different categories. So if they attend 1 to 25%, they are considered a dropout. If they attended 25 to 50%, it's incomplete. If they attended 50 to 75%, which would be this student, they get has attended. And if they attend 75% or more, they get completed. And the goal is for all the students to get at least has attended or completed. Completed is what they commit to. So when we have students sign up for classes, we make them check a box that says, I will attend 75% or more of my classes. That's not the reality that we see with our students because they're busy and they have childcare, transportation, other issues. But that is the goal. So that's why I wanted you guys to kind of see how I calculate that. So you can sort of, I don't know, you're welcome to use that to inform you. We don't have like quotas that we're trying to meet. We do set goals for ourselves for grants, but they're very reasonable goals based on student attendance from previous years. So don't ever feel like it's your responsibility to get students in class. They're adults. We want to remove barriers for them as much as possible, but they're ultimately the ones responsible. That's never going to be you guys' responsibility. Any questions about how I get the attendance data? Okay. For recording physical attendance. Oh yeah. I have created a document. I actually forgot I put this note on here where it just has a list of names. If you've ever been a school teacher, you probably know what I'm talking about. I should show it to you. It's just an attendance sheet. And I'm happy to share that with you guys if you prefer to take attendance physically and then go home and do it on your computer. It kind of looks something like, I like the ones with the diagonals at the top. It kind of looks like this. So you've got your list of students and the dates. So if you need something like that, I will attach it to one of my future emails and you're welcome to use that. You might, I think Catherine has one. You got
I have a
one.
little book.
Yeah, Catherine has a super nifty book that I love, and that's what inspired me to do this. And I think that is all I have for the parent literacy volunteers. So if you're parent literacy, you're welcome to stay, but that's all I wanted you to hear. Are there any questions from parent literacy? Thank you guys for joining. They got word of this the most last minute.
No, not yet.
That's it? Huh.
What?
Right? We're gone, right?
Yeah, you're welcome to leave if you teach in a school. Yeah, thanks for asking. And thank you for coming. Okay. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the pre-session and post-session evaluations. This is a new thing that we're trying this session.
You skipped over curriculum, Allie. Did you something you wanted to talk about?
I know. Thank you for saying that, John. I did intentionally skip over it. I thought I
Okay.
would have more to share on that, but I don't. Basically, some of you guys have asked me for curriculum. Some of you make your own. And for the most part, I say make your own, but I can provide you with support. We have resources in the office. Me and Don are going to try to pilot a new curriculum that I'm really interested in trying this session. And so I'm hoping to get copies of those, and then you guys are welcome to look at them. But I don't have a ton of like concrete info. I haven't even ordered the books yet, so that's why I skipped over this bullet point. But if you're the type of person who is like, I really wanted curriculum, and Allie encouraged me to write my own, and you want to see the new curriculum, I will have it in the office eventually, and just ask me about it, and I'm happy for you to look at it and potentially use it. So yeah, once it's more official, I'll do like a training on how it works and stuff like that. So I'm skipping to tests, and I think I've sent everyone should have gotten a template from me. I made those really quick. I'm not emotionally attached to them. I plugged our placement test and some other info into ChatGPT and spit them out. They were not a labor of love, but I wanted everyone to have an idea of what these tests could look like and then customize them based on what is actually happening in the class or what they think fits their student's level best.
Test.
I think all that is still needing to be done is if you teach an online class, I need to make your tests. If we haven't talked about any updates to it, we need to do that. And then if you like it the way it is, I'll make it into a Microsoft form and I'll give you a link that you can share with your students. And I'm happy to be there for the first class if you have any questions about that. Elaine and I talked about that recently. So any questions about the tests? Anyone who didn't get a template?
Ali, I don't,
Pre-assessment evaluation.
I think I asked, I'm teaching an intermediate conversation class, and the templates that I saw were for tutors that I guess are following a curriculum. I don't know what kind of testing the intermediate conversation class is, or whether I'm giving that and what it is, or what the post testing is. I'm very confused about that. And if it
Okay.
was going to be
What kind of
covered
test?
in the June, what is it, June 21st meeting? That June,
Yes.
I cannot attend. I have a previous commitment from 4 o'clock on that day, so I can't attend that. So I'm very confused. And in fact, I've used LACES now for 5 years, so I'm very comfortable with LACES, but not so comfortable with this pre-testing and post-testing concept.
Yeah. Thank you, Carmen. I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm.
Some people have overlap. Actually, most people do. When our volunteers come in, they get put in as tutors and then they sort of get put into other categories in our database. So I think most of you guys got that email. That email about the tutoring program is different. So just keep in your minds there's community classes and then there's the tutoring program. And they both fall under ESL and they both have new testing procedures. So it is confusing, and you are not the first person to ask me about this. On the 21st of January, we're having a training for the tutoring program. So again, you're welcome to come, but just separate that in your mind from the community class tests. Those are different. And the main difference is the tutoring program is using a curriculum, and the curriculum comes with tests, and we're asking them to use the unit tests. The community classes do not come with a curriculum. So I created templates and then sent them out. So I think what I need to do is follow up with you about which
I did not
template.
receive, I did not
Yeah.
receive a template.
Okay, I'll send you that and then you can look at it and we'll just talk about how to make it the best for your class. The difficulty is all the community classes are a little different. So those pre and post tests can't be as cookie cutter.
But Ali, I thought when we met, we weren't doing gonna do a test. We agreed.
We are going to do tests. I thought that we agreed we weren't going to do the speaking portion of the test.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but it's just going to be a form that you'll send to the students, and I can be there
Okay.
to help proctor. But yeah, please do set aside like probably maximum 30 minutes. I don't think it will take them that long. It's supposed to be pretty quick, but just mentally 15 to 30 minutes for
on the
them
first
to
on the first class.
first or second. I'll leave that up to you. I'm happy to wait till the second day if that works better for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to do the second?
I didn't know you were going to give a test. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Mike.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Thanks
wait,
for clarifying.
Ali, I'm very confused. I thought that they were going to be tested prior to being assigned
All
to a specific class.
They are, yes. So we get an intake. And so the point of this test is just kind of to show progress from class one to the end of the class, which they're pretty short sessions. So it's not testing a ton of stuff. I can show you an example. Let's see.
And Ali, I have a question too. Can you hear
Go
me?
ahead, James. Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
Was Carmen, were you done talking?
Oh, sorry.
Or can I pause your question while I look up the test
Sure.
and show it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, James.
My problem is the last class. My most faithful student, everybody's most faithful student, Rosaline, showed up for every class but the last one. So if I'm scheduling a test, in my case, it's of course going to be a pronunciation thing, and people are missing, and yet they've done most of the class, do we then bring them back at some point? Because I can't really you can't give them a pronunciation test by sending it to them. So that's my question.
Yeah, that's a great question, James. Don't worry too much about, actually, I'm going to do the search and not make you guys watch me fumble around in my inbox. Don't worry too much about students who aren't there because we can't control student attendance. If they miss the test, they miss the test. If your test, James teaches the pronunciation class, so your test is going to be way more involved than everyone else's. So it may be easiest for you to just skip it if you have some sort of like individual work. Like let's say Rosaline misses the first class, she shows up the second day. If you want to plan out like strategically, like we're going to do individual work for like 15 minutes where the students practice reading this thing to each other, and I'm going to pull Rosaline inside and or whoever missed day one and do the test. You could do something like that, but I only if that's something that makes sense to you and with your curriculum. If you're like, nope, I have one day for the test, that's what's going to work for me, then just forget about the other students. There's only so much we can do.
Yeah. And I guess at the second to last class before it's over, I can ask, is everybody coming to the last one? Oh, and if not, then I can, because all it's going to be is reading something the first time, and they don't know they're going to read the same thing the last time. I won't tell them that, and so they can't practice. So it really won't be. It'll be like a 3 minutes kind of thing. Then I'll have to
Yeah.
evaluate. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So whatever works for you. I mean, the more data, the better, but this is the first time we're doing it. So to your point, Carmen, about being uncertain about how it's going to look, that's how everybody feels. That's how I feel. So, oh wait, am I sharing my screen? Can you guys see my email?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so small that I can't see, but
Okay. I'll try to make it bigger, but good. Then you can see the test. Um, but to your point, Carmen, it's new for everybody. So again, I'm not going to get upset with anyone if it falls through the cracks, if we miss students, like this is our baseline. This is the first time we've tried it. So mostly we'll all learn a lot and we will mistake our way through it together. And next time I will be able to prepare you guys better, provide more resources, iron out the kinks. So I appreciate you guys bearing with me because this is just brand new.
Two
Um,
questions, Ally. I assume there are different tests for different levels, Ventures One,
yeah.
Ventures Two, and so on.
there are, so here's an example of, if you could hold your second question. This is there, I just created a form A and form B. I've had some teachers ask about doing the exact same test on day one versus day eight. Um, and that's fine. There's a little bit of a thing called the practice effect where students tend to do better if they've already taken a test before. So that's why I made like slightly different versions. It just helps us know that they're actually doing better from learning and not from memorizing how the test works. But here's an example of Carmen, your level, and I'll forward this to you. Um, but there's just some instructions. I would make this into a form that you could send to the students. You have a script. I've
What
worked
do you
at
mean
my
send to
jobs.
this? What do you mean send to the students?
Um,
Email them?
so I will give you a link and it'll look like, I'll show you, like, here's my placement test online that I send people. So what I'll do is I'll send you a link in like an email, or I can just come the first day and help with this. I think I'm going to do that for a lot of instructors. And so you would like, let's see, let's pretend you guys are my students. Oh, there you are. I couldn't see your faces. I would go to the chat. Sorry, the black bar is in my way. Okay, here's the chat. And I would say, here is the test. Please don't actually fill out this test because it's not for you guys. And then I put it in the chat and I would say, I posted the test in the chat. Click the blue words and we're going to do the test together. And even for this test, actually, before I put it in the chat, so again, I encourage you to kind of do what makes sense to you. I will open it up I'll share my screen and I'll open it up in my browser like this and I'll say, we're going to take a test. This is what the test looks like. It says Ventures Placement Test at the top. You're going to write your name and your email. And then you click next. Your test probably won't have a next, but like I just walk them through the mechanics of it. And I say, you're going to see this picture.
On their phone.
Write about the picture. Click
Where
next.
where are they writing the answers to this?
They have the test open. So like after I explain it, I'll put it in the chat just like I did with you guys. So then I'll say, okay, we talked about it. Here's the test. Click the blue words, open the test. Do you see Ventures Placement Test on your screen? And so they've opened it on their screen and then they select the answers.
Each of them
I'm sorry, I don't have
selects,
an
each of them selects the answer.
yeah.
Okay. And then what? They tell me, like I get the answers from, let's say, Pedro, all the answers, and then all the answers from Maria, and then all the answers. How do I compile the answers to this test?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, for the online test, you don't have
Yes.
to. They just
Oh.
click submit and then all the answers come to me. And I'll share them with you,
Oh,
but
the
like
answers go to you.
yeah, they'll submit. I own the form, so I get all the
Oh,
responses.
Allie,
okay.
I
That's a
think
great question.
I think there's confusion right now between the placement test that you give and the pre and post test that we give. I'm sensing that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I agree.
sorry.
You're
So
not
this
talking about our
example,
test. All this time you're talking about your test, right? Which has nothing to do with us. Is that right?
well,
No, this
I
is
was
this
a
is
just trying
pre-test.
to show you an
Yeah.
example of a test
Okay.
form, but this is my placement test. It's
Mhm.
totally different. I just haven't created
yeah.
your test yet, Carmen. So this is just
Okay.
an example. Yeah. Thanks, James.
But this is a pre-test. This is the pre-test that you're sending.
Yeah.
This is not exactly what it looks like, but it will look very similar. It will be a Microsoft
So
form outline.
so
Yeah.
And
Mother
you,
first day of class, Allie. I'll
Yeah,
write it.
I'll
I'll
come and
explain it.
I'll send it. I can proctor it and then you guys can see what it looks like. So
So our students
don't
are
even
doing this
worry.
pencil and paper though, right?
Yeah, so Lynn and John, you guys actually use this test on your own in parent literacy, and I think that you've been using it at AACF, and your
Yeah.
class is a little different. But I've talked to Lynn about it, and since you guys have books, you actually are using Ventures.
We are, but we're not doing it online. It's all paper and pencil still.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. That's
All
fine.
right.
I'm talking online because Carmen and like Mike are teaching an online class, so they have to proctor their
I see.
exams
Okay.
online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
And
is
I,
why the community class test is a little more complicated because everybody's class is different. So I
Mhm.
really appreciate you guys talking through it with me. I think, John, did you have a secondary question? I asked you to hold it and
I
then
might have come up with three, but the second one is I assume we should not review the test at all with the students because they always want to know, what I got right and what I got wrong. And so we should collect them, but not review them with them at all.
no, yeah. Nope, not for any. I'll talk to you and Lynn specifically about your plan, but any sort of placement test you're not going to review. You're just going to do it, say, good job. This is going to help me be a better teacher and take the test. It shouldn't be
Sure.
stressful. If they're worried about it, be like, don't even worry. Everybody passes. That's what I say for my placement test.
And my last question was, what if we advance in books during the course? So if I go from basics to a Ventures one, I start in basics, but I end in Ventures one.
Yeah, so because you guys use a book, it's different. You guys are using the ventures test. Yeah. If you have any more questions that are specific to your class, John, I'm going to set up a time for you, me, and Lynn to
Okay.
talk about it because I
All
don't
right.
want to confuse anybody else.
Sure.
These are good questions, but I'm afraid the more specific I get with you, the more confusing it'll be. So here's an
Fine.
example right now that I'm sharing. Carmen, this is like the template that I sent out just because I wanted to get some feedback from you guys. So it's
Test.
not an online form, but it has the same questions. So like, for example, you would read the script or let's say I'm going to proctor your first exam if that is okay with you. I can do that to help.
Okay.
Somebody left. I hope that was intentional. The teacher would say, I worked at my job since 2021. And so the student they can just see this question on
I
their
see.
screen. How
Mm-hmm.
long has the person worked there? Since 2021, B, tomorrow. And so the student checks their answer. And then I would say, okay, number two, after I finished class, I went to the library. And then the student has what happened first? Finished class, went to the library. Maybe I'll read it again. Number 2, after I finished class, I went to the library. Give the students a second to think, and then be like, okay, now you can move on to number 3, and they can do it on their own. They read, we haven't eaten lunch yet last week, and they choose the correct answers. So all I want from you, Carmen, is for you to read over it and say, these are questions that make sense for my students. Or like, we don't talk about not yet or last week. Let's make this question like, I like to go to the store blank, buy milk, and then they get to choose between like and or so. You know what I mean? Like the specific
Uh-huh.
questions, if you have like context context that make more sense. Like maybe you're like, we always talk about seasons. I want a question about the seasons. You don't have to
Okay.
even give me specific questions. You could just say, can you add a question about like the different forms of to be? Like we talk about he is, I am. Can we do something like that? And then I can customize the test.
Okay.
Yeah. Does it make a little more sense now? Or still a lot of confusion?
Well,
So, yeah, it's a pretest. Yep.
Yeah, but me and Mike got to have an individual meeting where we talked about all of this. How are you feeling, Carmen? Do you want to talk more later?
uh, um, maybe later.
Okay.
I I have been doing this intermediate class, and I guess I wasn't, um, I did not know exactly what intermediate was.
Mhm.
So I have this to me, um, is, low intermediate. This is very easy compared to how I do my class. So I feel
Great.
bad
Yeah.
for my students because I've been pushing them.
No, no, no. That's
They,
great. That means we should make the test a little more challenging.
every class I give them a little something. They practice pronunciation because each gets a paragraph to read out loud. And then I ask questions about what they read. So that tests the comprehension. That's what I
Mhm.
thought, that's what I thought intermediate was. And obviously, simple stories. But anyway, that this can be a pre-test, and then I'll figure out where, the difficulty with what that I have found is that sometimes I get a class where every student is at the same level. They have the same understanding, basically the same grammar skills. And then I have other classes that there are 3 different levels among 10 students. Much more difficult to teach. I still don't get the, putting people on a classroom, or putting 2 people on a class. I don't know how to do that in Zoom. I'm with them face to face the entire time, with all of them. And sometimes what I do is say, okay, I'm going to do it very simple, and I address my questions to the people that I think have less understanding. But anyway, you can be there for my first one. If you would help, that would be great for me to to have an understanding of this, because I think it is important to test to see, are they learning.
Yeah. Yeah, you bring up some really good points, Carmen. It can be tough to have. I'm actually excited to hear that some of your classes, everyone is the same level, because that's awesome.
That's right.
But often they are multi-level, and it is challenging. It is, and I'm happy to talk to you more about strategies. We can practice breakout rooms if you want, but I think what you're doing is working. I know we've talked about it a little bit session to session, but you're doing a great job, and what you're experiencing is it's common to all teachers. It's not like a lack of experience situation. I think we're all like, why do I have one student that's like way down here and one student that's way up here? And how do I make this person engaged while making sure this person isn't totally lost?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a really good point. And if you are doing like a lot of reading comprehension and reading passages, I mean, I'm sure there's a conversation aspect to that. Then like we can make the test like Catherine has a test like that because she does a writing class. So we could make it a passage and have them answer comprehension questions, you know, at the right level, like you said. But this test can really align with what you found works with your students and what you plan to do. It doesn't have to
Okay.
be this template I sent. This is just an example. Yeah. So
Okay.
Allie,
follow up with you. Yeah, James?
just to throw something in, since I'm such a chat GPT guy. I've been thinking about the difficulty of having not wanting to have the same test at the beginning at the end because people might remember it. You had a technical phrase for it. I'm pretty sure that you can ask ChatGPT to, help you develop a test, and you can say things like include this, that, and the other
Mm-hmm.
problem, kind of problem. And then I'm almost positive you could say to ChatGPT, I want another test that is at the exact same level of difficulty that covers these same issues, but that is different in terms
Yeah.
of the words used. I just during this class, I've decided I'm going to do that for pronunciation instead of having them read the same passage at the end. I'll
Okay.
just, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
if it works, I'll have to review it, but I think I could
Yeah, yeah.
I could say, give me a pronunciation paragraph that covers all these same issues, stress timed and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff, but that's totally different. So ChatGPT can be amazing at that sort of thing. So I just thought I'd
Yeah, yeah.
be
No,
that
that's
cheerleader
helpful.
again.
And you know what, James? That's exactly what I did. I used
Oh, really?
all of these tests. Yeah. So that's why I say I'm not emotionally tied to them. They're just templates. I did like try to put some data in to make them somewhat align with my placement test, but yeah, for your class, I will say I feel like it's a little different since it's pronunciation. So that's the one situation where I think it would be most appropriate if you want to use the same thing. But I like what you said. Like you, if there's another passage that covers the same pronunciation issues, then that's even better. So yeah, see what ChatGPT gives you. I'm totally open to that. Appreciate everyone's collaboration on these tests. You guys put so much work and thought into your classes, the same way all good teachers do, and your volunteers. And it's such a blessing to work with you guys. I benefit from the experience that you bring to the classroom and the passion every day. Sometimes I walk to work and I'm tired and I'm like, I really like my job though. Like I remember what it's like working with you guys and I love it. So thank you.
Thank you.
All
It's
right.
8:02. Any other questions? You guys are dismissed, but I'm happy to stay and answer more questions.
No, so we have the students already assigned to us?
Yeah, I sent out the rosters like right before this meeting started.
Okay.
So check them out. Some of the rosters are a little light. We still have a week. We still have students we're assessing, so don't worry too much about that. But a lot of them are very full, and I'm very pleased. I know one of Catherine's writing classes that has historically been low is a lot higher than it has been, so that's exciting.
Yeah, I saw there were 6 people. That was good.
Yeah, we have two new online classes that Mike and Nadine are teaching, and they're full. I always say if you want to teach an online class, that's the only class I can promise you'll have maximum enrollment. Carmen so graciously moved to morning. She made this class work because her class has historically been the most popular. Now, it doesn't always translate to retention. Even though I can get you 15 students enrolled, that doesn't mean there'll be 15 students in class every day, but it's a great start. So, yeah.
Are
Alan,
you
just, oh, go ahead.
are you going to I sent you those pre-tests and post-tests. Is there a time we can meet next week to I don't mind if you go over and change things or tweak it a little bit. That would be
Yeah.
fine, especially the conversation one. I wasn't sure exactly uh about that one.
Yeah, definitely. Shoot me an email so I don't forget. I'm
Okay.
super behind. So if anyone has sent me an email I haven't seen, I'm going to try to catch up. But I actually, the secret is that I start at the top of my inbox. So if you really need to get me, just like resend it. because I figure some of the stuff at the bottom will like resolve itself. Sorry if that's not your philosophy of emails. So, and then I
Um,
think the people at the top, at least they won't be mad at me because I got back to them fast. So there's like a definitive set of people. Was there someone else? Mike, did you have a question?
yeah, I'm sure that all the rest of you know this, but how do you send students the Zoom link to join the class?
Yeah,
I
they
Yes.
all already have their class confirmations. Everyone on that roster has already been confirmed that they're in the class.
and they
And then
have a
now,
Zoom link.
yes, yeah. And
Yes,
as
okay.
they sign up, we'll keep sending it. And then they get a reminder that first week of class, they get another email and they get a text that Jenna, um, she sends those out, which is awesome. Another
And
huge
will you
relief.
send us a copy of the Zoom link so we can, because I like to send it to them every week to kind of remind them.
Yes.
Yeah, you should already have one. It should be in the email with your rosters.
Oh,
So
okay, great.
definitely click on it. Make sure it says like the name of your class. If you notice any issues or errors, let me know. Because it is, we have, gosh, I think we have like 18 community classes, maybe more this session. So, I'm
Wow.
doing the
Wow.
same thing for 18 people. So I do make mistakes. So if you notice any, please let me know.
Ally,
Wow.
I asked you to resend my roster because it cut off the emails of the students. Um,
Oh, try downloading it and then like adjusting. Here, I can show you actually, because I think I know what
yeah,
you
I
mean.
did download it. Yeah, I tried to
You
print
did?
it.
Oh, let me see. Like, so here's what I sent Mike. You open it up. It doesn't default to the right. You have to like move it over. And printing Excel docs is hard. So if I download it, I don't think you guys can see that. Let me try. Share my entire screen. Okay, can you see that?
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, it should look like an Excel sheet.
Right.
So if you just grab this and pull, it shouldn't cut off. If you make the column bigger, is that something that you already tried, Mike? Am I mansplaining this?
Um,
Good one,
I, my wife uses that term. No, I'm sure I would have, but I'm willing to try it again. Because I know Excel spreadsheets, but I didn't. I'll try. I'll see if it works when I do that. Hold on, if I can get to my
Okay.
email, I can.
I can send them in the body of an email too if that makes it easier. Or like if they're
Oh,
cut off, you can highlight them and copy and paste them somewhere else. Cuz like this is the doc that I sent you. So,
well, here it is.
not
I'm looking at now. Let's see if I can. Oh, where is it?
but I can definitely send it in a different format.
And then I can't even. Uh, there it is. And no, it's not coming in a spreadsheet where you can. It looks like a spreadsheet, but I can't extend the rows.
Okay.
And if I go print,
Does it say anything
yeah,
like
no, I don't have the
enable
ability
editing?
I don't have the ability to extend the rows. No, it's not coming as an Excel spreadsheet. No.
Yeah. Does it say anything at the top like enable editing or update the file type? Like it would be like a
Uh,
little yellow ribbon.
no. It said
No. Okay.
it says open with, I can open with Google Sheets. Let's see if that helps.
It might be because I sent it as a CSV, not Excel, so I can convert it to Excel and resend it.
Okay.
Is
Well,
anyone else
actually,
having trouble with the CSV?
when I was moving to when I moved it to the CSV, I was able to I'm able to um yeah, but I can't print it. Um
I'm glad you mentioned that because sometimes I do convert them to Excel because Excel's more
yeah, Excel would be easier
yeah.
if you can convert it,
Easy.
it'd
Yeah,
be better.
easily I can. I'm glad you said something.
Ellie, that's kind of like the problem I had early. I always sent out written and verbal stuff, oral files, and I started sending Word documents and WAV files. And the Chrome people, what's Word? And so ChatGPT told me make it PDF and MP3, which is most universal. So anyway,
Would you
but I
guys
had one other
prefer
question, if I
PDFs
may.
of your rosters?
Sorry.
Would you guys prefer a PDF of your roster at the beginning of the session? Then it would be fixed and you could just print it out.
Mm-hmm.
Not easy.
Maybe I'll try to do that next session. And
Well,
Michael, I'll get you a different form this session for sure. But if
you,
everyone else can handle the CSV for now, I'll think about that for the future. That's
And
you can do that roster that you did for Catherine. That's great. Um,
attendance sheet. Actually, those would be a blank form that you guys would fill out. I was just going to give you guys like a template so you could write on it. But I'll send it in another email. So
okay.
I went really fast through that. Erin, did you have a question?
I don't think I've received anything from you with a roster or test template or anything. I looked through everywhere, but I can't find it. So,
Probably because you're just doing parent literacy, right?
and I'm doing a class at Wright Manufacturing.
So that's actually not going to come from me. Anna will tell you everything you need for Wright.
Okay.
And then for parent literacy, I have not historically sent out rosters, but let me talk to Holly about that and
Oh,
see.
that's okay. I think it's in Laces already anyway, maybe. So that's fine.
No, I have to add it to Laces. So
Oh,
that
the new
won't
one.
be,
Okay. My
yeah,
first
that won't
session
be
was
this
in there,
year.
but okay. So everything goes through Anna then, not for the Wright Manufacturing, only
For
through
Wright,
Anna.
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all Anna. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, good question. It is so, we have so many programs and there's a lot of overlap. So it's a good
Yeah.
question.
That's good
Some of
though.
them,
There's so much going on.
I know. And we love it when you guys wanted, we love you guys. So if you want to do another program, we're like, yeah. Did someone else had a question?
Yeah, I
James,
did.
was it you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in the step-by-step process. We wake up and it's snowing. Who makes the decision to switch from classes to online, and how is that communicated?
Such a good question. I wish I had said this earlier when everyone was here. So I would love to make that call actually before, like the day before, if we know there's a snowstorm coming, we've got the backup. I hate when everyone's like waiting till the last minute to be like,
Mhm.
Are the roads bad?" Like, let's just call it the day before. I'll reach out and say, "Hey, they're calling for snow." Or you can reach out for me. Sometimes I don't check the weather, so you're welcome to proactively be like, "Hey, Allie." Catherine is really good about this. Catherine's actually always had a backup for her class. This was her idea, basically. And she's
Live
like,
on a hill, a very
IC
steep
tomorrow.
hill.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not coming in. Let's call it. And then I'll just tell all your students, and everyone will plan to meet on Zoom. I'm
Okay, so
sure,
that was my main question. You're the one
yeah.
who tells the students, not I.
Yeah,
Is
you're
that
not responsible for that. You're
okay?
welcome to like I know like Don likes to follow up with his students on his own.
Mhm.
Like you're welcome to duplicate if you want, but we'll
Yeah.
we'll definitely send something out. It's not your
You said you
responsibility.
have 3 accounts. Is that going to be enough? There will never be a time when there are 4 classes at the same time.
There's no overlap. One class has an overlap and he has access to a different account.
Okay,
Most of
great.
the classes are on staff. The only overlap that I sort of left was one of Lynn's classes. And I already talked to you about the some, Lynn. Yours and John's class are in the same account, and you would have to do a breakout room.
You talking about the
Um,
parent or the AAC classes?
this is AACF. Yeah, good
Oh.
question. There are not backup accounts for the parent
Hmm.
literacy classes. Um, but for AACF, I did create a backup account, and it's like yours ends at 11:45 and rescue mission starts at 11:30. And
Right.
so I can either move rescue mission to a different account, or I was kind of just gonna see how it goes. Like I was
It's
like, what
not
are
going
the
to be
odds
the
that
end
they
of the
would
world if
both?
we have to leave at 11:30, trust me. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Don't move
figured
it, just
the
cut it early. That's not a problem.
okay, yeah. The important thing was just that I remembered to tell you that. So
Yeah.
now you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
good.
try to get
Okay.
ahead of this stuff, but sometimes you guys are my guinea pigs, and I'm like, I'm gonna see how that goes.
Okay, thank you, Allie.
Thank you, Ellie.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys so
Thank
much.
you.
Such
Bye.
good questions. Have
Bye-bye.
a good long weekend.
You
You
too.
too.
Two.
Bye.
Bye.
God.